So at the time of recording this, I have broken 1800 power level in Destiny 2 Lightfall, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what I personally did, how I got to 1800 in Destiny 2 Lightfall. Again, it's going to be what my personal experience, my personal kind of journey on getting to that power level, and to give you some tips and tricks along the way. I'm going to try to make this as informative as possible, and so I might have to put chapters in the video if the video ends up being a little bit lengthy. If you do enjoy this one though, be sure to stick around for more. I do a variety of gaming content, including a bunch of Destiny content here on the channel. Without further ado, my friends, let's jump into this. So the very first thing should probably be obvious, but play the campaign. But not just to play the campaign, but I played it on Legendary. Now, when you play it on Legendary, you're going to get a bunch of extra rewards, and it's actually pretty crazy. By the time I was done the campaign on my first character, I was already at like 1750. And you start out at 1600, so that's like 150 above. It just drops tons and tons and tons of items when you play it on Legendary. You get like these 2 chests after every kind of, big section of the campaign missions, and it drops a ton of stuff. Not only does it drop a ton of stuff, but it also drops a ton of upgrade modules as well. So if you have, good gear that you want to keep using, it kind of supplies you with a lot of upgrade modules to keep kind of infusing your gear. So honestly, if you can do Legendary, I would highly suggest it. Now, obviously, you can do this with more players, but the more people you bring into this, it does sort of scale. So for example, there's a few extra ads. I noticed certain sections there wasn't, a vastly, more amount of ads, but there are going to be more ads. And the other thing is that the enemies in general have a little bit more health. They're a little bit harder to kill the more people you have. So when I, was trying to clear out ads on solo, they had a little bit less health. Again, it scales in that kind of sense. But it still could be easier. Honestly, I ran through the campaign a second time in a second character. We're going to talk about second characters in a second here. And on the second run, I went with a full fire team with my son, with one of my good friends, and we just kind of breezed through it. We just, didn't even think about it. We were just kind of talking about random stuff. So again, it's very, very easily done, especially if you have great builds, right? So if you, of course, the Hunter has some pretty great strand builds. The Warlock has the fusion grenade solar build, which absolutely melts for the final boss in the Legendary campaign. So obviously if you have, good builds as well and good friends, and it's just going to be a good time. So again, I would highly suggest doing Legendary campaign, because you're going to get a massive bump right out of the gate that's going to help you substantially and significantly, if you will. Alright, so the next thing is going to be a bunch of different stuff on Neomuna. So, for example, Nimbus is going to have a bunch of different stuff like bounties and stuff, and that's going to obviously help you rank up your seasonal artifact, which will give you a power boost. But we're not just talking about power boost, which will help boost your level. We're also talking about your base power being 1800 as well, right? But of course, in this sort of rank rewards section, as you rank up, you're going to get some gear. It's not going to be the best gear, but it's gear that'll be sometimes a couple levels higher than what you have. Right now it's not, because I'm already hitting, like I said, that 1800 for the most part. So it's not going to be, higher for me, but there is that. There also is some of his engrams and different engrams from different people, right? So if you go to like different vendors, they're going to have different kinds of engrams, and those can help give you a little bit of a boost as well. Not a massive boost, but a little bit, which kind of helps, right? The next thing is doing some of the activities and some of the quests. So for example, some of the quests and some of the activities includes terminal overload, and if you actually go and complete these, they're pretty lengthy, but at the very end you get 2 chests. So if you get these certain items that are terminal keys, which you get randomly from chests and from completing events and different things in this world, in this Neomuna, you get the keys like that, well, you can open a second chest. And what's crazy is if you actually go out of a loading zone, so for example, right here, it's in the Liming Harbor at the time of recording this. I don't know how you actually say that. If I was to go down the path towards Zephyr and then go back to Liming Harbor, the first chest will still be there, and this is just at the time of recording this. This probably will be patched at some point, but you can actually farm the first chest. Not the one that requires a key, unfortunately, but the first chest, you can go and hit it up to 3 times. So the first time when you first hit it, you go out, come back in, hit it a second time, out, back in, hit it a third time. And that'll give you a little bit of extra gear as well. And again, it'll just kind of help boost you up, because again, we're trying to get to the soft cap, right? Where, you're not going to need powerful gear or Pinnacle gear just quite yet. So just to clarify, the soft level cap is 1750. So that means once you get to 1750, you're going to need stuff like powerful gear. And then the powerful level cap is going to be 1800. And then to get past 1800, you're going to have to start digging into Pinnacles, which is going to be 1810. That said, I didn't personally wait till I was 1800 to start getting, 1810 Pinnacle stuff, because this is, at the time of recording this, week 1 still. And, by the time you're kind of high enough to get closer to 1800, you're most likely, it's going to be closer to the end of the week, and you might as well grab those Pinnacles anyways. That said, we're going to still talk about this in sort of an order. So like I said, if you do a legendary campaign, you should already have that soft cap. And then to get some of the powerful gear, you're going to do different stuff, like I said, around the world that might help boost you up a little bit. And you're going to do the quest. So eventually, you're going to unlock the Hall of Heroes, which is going to be a little area kind of in the back of the first kind of spawn location. It's where I guess the puka pond is going to be, behind that. And back there's going to be this one character, or I guess not character, but like sort of a vendor, right? And it's a hologram. And what this hologram character, whatever you want to call it, vendor, is going to do is they're going to give you a bunch of quests, and eventually it's going to actually lead to one of your exotic quests. But what you're going to want to do with this is you're going to go ahead and do all these quests, because they're going to give you some pretty good powerful gear rewards. So as you're making your way through there, you're going to get more gear. And of course, as you're doing the exotic quests, so one of the weapons I'm actually holding is a different exotic quest. And if you don't know how to do those, again, there's a bunch of guides. I have a guide for this specific pistol on my channel as well. But if you do the exotic quest, it's going to give you some gear along the way as well. You're going to get the exotics, which are going to be obviously helpful along your journey. And of course, you're going to also have gear that's going to drop a little bit higher. So if you do all these quests, again, they're going to drop some more powerful gear, and they'll help you out as well. And once you've, done a bunch of stuff like that, we can go get some additional power gear in a few other ways also. So one thing you can also do as you're sort of, I guess, grinding towards your Pinnacles is just do different stuff like, the Vanguard playlist, Gambit, Crucible. At the end of these kind of activities, if you will get gear that typically drops a little bit higher. So I was getting gear that would drop from the chest that was slightly higher, especially if you go to like Nightfalls in the Vanguard playlist. You're going to get stuff that's even better, like, a chance to get exotics and different things like that. And that can help you out as well as you're grinding towards those Pinnacles. But again, if you don't want to get the Pinnacles quite yet, make sure that you don't progress it all the way through, right? So for example, you need to play 3 Gambit matches to get a Pinnacle. Just play 2. Try to do as many bounties as you can in the process. And then, of course, do the same thing with the Vanguard, and the same thing, with the Crucible. If you're, again, just trying to, get a little bit of powerful gear before claiming those Pinnacles. And then when you're ready to claim those Pinnacles, you'll be a lot closer to the, to a little bit of a higher level, and a lot closer to completing those activities for the Pinnacle as well. Okay, so before we proceed, just a little recap. What I did the legendary campaign. I got up to 750. I did a bunch of Neomuna stuff because, again, it was a lot of fun. You got a bunch of strand stuff. I did all the exotic quests because there's like, 3 of them. So I did all 3 of the exotic quests for that stuff. I did a bunch of the bounties with Nimbus. I did a bunch of activities here. I did a ton of the stuff like the terminal overload playlist as well. I did all that stuff, and then eventually I was a lot higher. I was like, maybe 1770s, 1780s or something, so I was getting very close to that 1800. So at that point, what I did personally, like I said, is I went to the tower. I got some bounties for each, kind of vendor, Crucible, Vanguard playlist, etc. And I started working on those. Now, the thing is that when you complete 8 bounties for the vendor, they're going to give you a powerful gear as well. So what I did is I did that. I got the powerful gear from my vendors, and then I got the Pinnacles for them as well during the process. And I wasn't so worried about saving my Pinnacles because, again, we're kind of approaching reset in just a couple days at the time of recording this. It's currently Sunday, and reset is going to be on Tuesday in just a couple days. So, again, I wasn't worried about that, getting the Pinnacles too early because, again, I was so close to 1800 anyways. But I was trying to get those powerful gear if I could first. So that's what I did, is I got those bounties and I started working on that. So I did that per vendor. Like I said, I did the Nightfall strikes, just the normal ones for me personally. You can do the harder ones if you would like to, but I just did the normal ones and, you know, the normal Nightfalls, and I was good. So again, I was ranking up, I was getting the bounties done, I was also ranking up my seasonal pass, it was getting me more powerful bonuses from my artifact because I was getting a ton more XP. And then of course, once I got my powerfuls, I got my pinnacles from all these different vendors. Again, the Gambit, Crucible, and Vanguard one being the main ones. And along the way, there's also some additional rewards that you can get. So when you actually go into a vendor, so for my case right here, we're at Zavala, you can see that I'm Heroic 3, Rank 9 at the time of recording this, right? Well, here's the thing. As you rank up, every major rank reward, so I'm actually about to get another one. So that's, you know, of course, we got Brave, we got Heroic, we got Fabled. Those are the major ranks, right? Then the kind of sub ranks are like Heroic 1, Heroic 2, Heroic 3. Every major rank, you're going to get a powerful engram. And you can actually see, interestingly enough, my next one will drop at 1801 because of my current level. So these are very, very good to get. Also, additionally, sometimes they'll have rewards that are armor or you know, weapon based. For example, if I rank them up enough, I'll get the Ecliptic Distaff Glaive, and that's going to be a little bit higher as well. So if you're ranking up your vendors, that is going to be massive. And this is something, like I said, every major rank, you're going to get one of these powerful gear, which is going to help you tremendously. So if you grind each vendor individually, then you're going to get even more gear, which is going to help boost you up. So there's so much powerful gear and pinnacle gear to be had. Additionally, if I go ahead and we look at Hawthorne, so Hawthorne, I'm not going to go to right now because I've already completed this, but Hawthorne actually has a thing that if you commend 20 people, you're going to get a piece of gear. Of course, if you're in a clan and you're completing certain clan objectives as well, right? So you're going to get gear from that as well. So, you know, if you go to your clan, you got your Crucible, your Nightfall, your Raid, your Gambit rewards. Those are going to give you weekly clan engrams. You got all these different things to get some additional powerful gear that's just going to help you along the way. But we're not actually done yet because there's, yeah, sure, great. There's 3 vendors here, but there's a couple other ones maybe you didn't think of. For example, we have the Gunsmith, which is here in the tower as well. And if we go to the Gunsmith, he also has rank rewards. So again, as you rank up the Gunsmith, so basically you're dismantling stuff, you're doing his bounties, it's going to rank up your reputation with him. Again, you're going to rank up, you're going to get more powerful rewards, and also you're going to get some upgrade modules, different things like that also. So that's always nice as well. Keep in mind too that a lot of these vendors also have their own engrams. Like I said, you can grab them. They're not usually super powerful, but sometimes, for example, let's say you have, you know, an armor piece that's maybe a lot more lacking than some other armor piece. You can try to like grind for, you know, or I guess RNG for that one from these vendors, right? Different things like that. You can obviously also focus, right? Certain vendors, you can focus your engrams so you can get a very specific piece of gear. So if I need legs, if I know like, hey, let's say I go to Zavala as a vendor, for example, I got engrams for him. I go to his focus decoding. I can see armor, right? As long as I have a Vanguard engram, I have legendary shards, I have glimmer. If I need a helmet, which I don't because mine's 1800, but let's say my helmet was the thing that was lacking. Let's say it was even 1795, and that extra point just helps boost it up a little bit. I could focus it for that. So that's another thing that I could do. But there's still more vendors yet that you probably didn't think of. So in the seasonal, now again, I get everybody's not going to have the seasonal, because this has to do with the seasonal actual, you know, season pass. If you didn't buy the deluxe edition of Lightfall, then you're going to have to buy in each individual season. But if you do that, Season of Defiance has their own kind of activities. So if we go over to the destinations, usually those are going to be located in the helm, which of course they are. And there's a couple more pinnacles to be had. So the war table, if you do 8 bounties for the war table, you're going to get a pinnacle from that. Additionally, if you do 3 Defiant Battlegrounds, you're going to get a pinnacle. And I believe if you do 2 more after that, so you do a total of 5, it also gives you an additional powerful gear. I think it was tier 2 if I recall correctly. So you'll get an additional powerful gear from that as well, which should be enough to boost you past that, you know, kind of get you to that 1800 mark. So there's a lot more, even just with this kind of playlist and this activity and this vendor to be had with those rewards also. So again, and that's not even getting into everything else. Like, I haven't even touched things like dungeons and raids, right? If I go to Savathun's Throne World, for example, you can see there's an engram here because there's the Spire of the Watcher dungeon. That's another pinnacle if you want to do something like that, right? We have all the different legacy stuff like Vault of Glass. We have King's Fall. We have the Prophecy Dungeon, right? You got different things. Actually, I don't know if the 2 raids up here will give you drops that are that high. I'm not sure on that one. I thought they would, but I'm not sure. Dreaming City, right? We go here. We have Last Wish. That will give you Pinnacle gear, which is helpful as well. So if you want to add those into the mix, right, you can do that. So there's like I said, there's a lot to be had here. There's just so much gear that you can get. That's how I got up to 1800 personally. I will say a quick little caveat, because people are going to wonder, what's your actual base level? Well, let's go through it. I got an 1802 primary. I got an 1800 secondary. I got a 1799, but wait, I have an 1800 in my inventory. I just didn't want to equip it right now. So I do have an 1800 there. My bond is 1800. Now here's the thing. I've gotten very unlucky, and I got like 4 different bonds that were 1800. So technically all my gear should be 1800. It's not quite. My boots are, unfortunately, my chest is 1798 and my gauntlets are 1798. If I didn't get a bunch of bonds that were dropping at 1800 and just be super unlucky, and again, this could happen for you, so there's the RNG factor, then I would technically be 1800 base power. But these 2 gear are the last things I need, and then I got the helmet. But I wanted to make this video for you guys because technically by the time you guys see this video, I'm gonna have this gear up to 1800 anyway. So my base is actually 1799. I'm 1 point off. Without my artifact power bonus, I'm 1 point off the 1800, technically speaking. But again, I'm pretty much there. I just got super unlucky. Like 3 of my powerful gears and pinnacles ended up being bonds, 3 or 4, which is just bad luck. And then I think a 4th or 5th one ended up being helmets, which already had the 1800 for that. So, but as of right now, I got a 9 power bonus on my artifact, which is boosting me up to 1808. So again, I'm cruising. 5 days into this, I'm cruising. Yes, I put in a lot of work. I put in a lot of hours. But if I go to the artifact, you can see my next power bonus is actually soon as well. So I'm gonna have a plus 10. So that's gonna boost me even further. So that's that, my friends. That's how you rank up to 1800. That's how I ranked up to 1800 within the first week. We're not even at reset yet. I'm going to be past 1800 most likely by the time reset happens. Lord willing, all goes as planned. But like I said, man, 1800. It's not too hard to get to hit, honestly. If you just follow these tips and tricks, you're going to be cruising. You're going to have it. I will leave you with one last tip, and that is, yes, secondary characters, okay? This is very important. The more characters you do, the better you're going to have, right? So for example, what you're going to want to do is if you grind all this on your first character, you get to the max, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer my most powerful weapons over to my secondary character, and that's going to also help things drop a little bit higher at the same time on my secondary. So I'm going to level my secondary character up a lot faster. When I did my second campaign playthrough, I actually got to 1750 like within the first mission, maybe the second mission, because it was just dropping, everything was dropping like substantially faster and higher. And then by the time I was done that, again, I had all those other powerful gear and pinnacle gear that was available on my second character that I hadn't done, right? So that gives me a whole new list, right? All these vendors we just talked about for powerful gear, right? We got the seasonal stuff, right? Which there was like 3 different pieces of gear there. The Crucible, the Gambit, the Vanguard, so much gear. And then if you want to, I haven't done this yet. Keep this in mind. It's not even reset. I have time. I haven't done my third character. So if I go on to my third character, I'm going to be smashing the power, the power cap, and I'm going to be going into that pinnacle cap territory. So again, if you follow all of these tips and tricks, you're going to rank up super fast. And if you're trying to get raid ready, especially, that's kind of the idea for trying to rank up as fast as possible, or do, harder stuff, Grandmaster, Nightfalls, or, maybe legendary lost sectors. You're trying to get that solo flawless run for the Guardian ranks challenge, then you're going to be good to go. So anyways, I think that's pretty much it. I don't think I left anything out. Again, this is just what I did personally. If you have better tips or tricks, let us all know in the comments section below. But that's what's been my method personally, and I think it's worked best, and I wanted to try to help you guys out at the same time. So let me know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this one, leave it a like, subscribe for more. If you didn't like it, let me know why, so I can improve the content in the future. And I hope to see you guys soon another one. Let me know what your current level is, and come back in like a few hours or in a day or two before reset or whenever, and let me know what you end up getting to in the first week or whenever. It could be like a month from now, whatever you're at. Just let's just have a cool discussion and share our you know, Destiny journeys, if you will. That sounds kind of cringe, maybe. I don't know. But hey, it's all good fun. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay well. Until the next one, game on. I'll see you guys soon.